Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and Megyn Kelly doesn't just deliver a killer speech. In this speech, she outlines exactly why Trump won and why we should be celebrating today. Let's dive in.
These battles are being won piece by piece, one at a time. And there are so many others. I'm thinking about the 14-year-old girls in Wisconsin who had an 18-year-old guy come in there naked into their showers after gym. I'm thinking about the young woman in Massachusetts who just wanted to play field hockey and suddenly got all of her teeth knocked out because a boy played for the other team posing as a girl. How do we know about these stories? Because people were outraged. Citizens went to the news. They went to their principals. Girls spoke out one by one and got the ball rolling on change. And change is coming. All of you wearing the MAGA hats. It used to be an act of civil disobedience, right? Yes, sir, defiance of a registered order that didn't want to hear from you. But wearing that hat for much of the past 8 years has been an act of courage, too. And I know just because you're here, that you had your moments in your own communities, whether it was online or at the bowling alley or at the restaurant or at school, where you stood up for one of these same issues, where you had to tell somebody you didn't want to be reduced to skin color, where you said, I prefer the days when we didn't make a thing out of that, where you had to tell somebody that boys cannot become girls and girls cannot become boys. Those battles, one after the other, have been fought, and this anti-DEI momentum has been built brick by brick, thanks to all of you. And you who listened to Donald Trump, who, when a reporter asked him at a presidential debate in 2015 about some of the language he used, responded by saying, "What I say is what I say. And if you don't like it, too bad." That was more than just a quick comeback. That was a reminder of what America is. In America, we have the right of free speech. We have the right to offend, to provoke, to annoy, and to stand up for what we believe in, even if you find it controversial. We have the right not to use the words you try to force on us, like your preferred pronouns or words like anti-racist or chest feeding. We are reminded of that daily by President Trump, who would never bow to the woke mob. Just ask Brett Kavanaugh, who will be swearing in J.D. Vance tomorrow as he, Kavanaugh, sits in his robes as an Associate Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. So I thank all of you for being part of the Trump movement and for bringing these changes upon us and for bringing Donald Trump back into the office. And a reminder before I go, stay strong. We haven't won the war. We're winning. We've won a bunch of battles, but he's going to need all of you every step of the way. We're going to have to be patient. We're going to have to steel our spines. Do not bend. Never bow. What I say is what I say. God bless you. God bless President Trump. God bless the United States of America.
There are so many historical parallels going into today, because Grover Cleveland was the only president to win, lose, then win again. He won the first time because there was desperate reform that was needed in the government. He won, but the establishment at the time hated him so much that they kicked him out of office and dragged him through the mud as much as they could. The American people bought it for a little while, then realized the current political party, which was actually the Republicans at the time, weren't exactly following through on their promises either. So they got Grover Cleveland back into office, and he had another successful term. Every now and then, the establishment needs a good kick in the pants. This happens quite often in American history. For instance, Andrew Jackson, even though I despise him as president, was desperately needed to sort of break the current Washington mold. Washington had a political elite class at that time, and they needed to have some better policy or else things were going to fall apart. And Jackson is a very mixed bag and did some very evil things. He overstepped his bounds. He essentially created a situation where there was going to be an economic depression, which happened soon after he left office. And then what he did to the Cherokee natives was unspeakable. But the Washington establishment at the time was so anti-Jackson because he was a populist in nature. Occasionally, the populists do end up winning. They sided with FDR, even though he was mostly a disastrous president. Then they sided again with Reagan, who was a fairly good president, although deserves some scrutiny. And now we come to Donald Trump, the man who broke the mold in so many ways that it broke a lot of people's brains. There are still so many pearl-clutching Republicans who want nothing to do with him because they were a part of that Washington elite who needed a kick in the pants. Then you had the entire Democrat Party that seemed to have lost their minds. They put all of their eggs in the rich white liberals and their kids' baskets, and now they're wondering why all the eggs are broken and rotting. That's sort of just what's been going on in the American zeitgeist. And it's time to come to terms with the reality that there is a new political wave and we are in the middle. We are in the middle of watching history happen. Not because of the circumstances of Donald Trump's inauguration. No. We are watching a new political realignment right before our eyes. We're seeing it in real time. And it's all because people had the opportunity to look inside their own schools. They had time to look inside their own families. And they realized that things were rotten. Something's rotten in Denmark. And ultimately, they started understanding that our schools were pushing forward these policies that made no sense, particularly with the transgender issues. Then they saw how the schools reacted to this. The people enacting these policies clutched their pearls and tried to kick out the rabble-rousers. Well, Americans don't really like it when you do that. You don't tell Americans what to do and expect to come out unscathed. We're kind of a rebellious people, and that's ironically what makes us such a strong democracy. That streak of rebellion that says no because there's a good chance that if someone is giving you orders, there's probably some tyranny going on somewhere. That's exactly why we founded a new nation. So yes, today is a day for celebration. Megyn Kelly is out there telling people at this rally that their hard work, their dedication, their belief, which has cost them greatly. These were the pariahs who ended up talking about Donald Trump first. And typically, looking back, most of the Donald Trump supporters from the very beginning were either hardcore evangelicals who realized that their system needed to be shaken up, some of the nicest members of the Republican Party that you can possibly ever meet. I know, it sounds ironic, but these people understood that someone with a mean streak can probably shake things up a little bit more, and boy did we need it. We have needed more than ever a moment of truth and clarity in American politics. We weren't getting that from the Democrat Party. We definitely weren't getting that, and probably won't for a while, get that from the mainstream media. And it's going to be difficult for a lot of people to accept it. There's a lot of Democrats who do not want to accept the fact that Donald Trump basically, like I've been saying, kicked them in the pants and reminded them that they've taken things a step too far, or way too far in my opinion. So ultimately today is a day of celebration, and I find it very ironic, pleasantly ironic for that matter, that it also happens on MLK Day. That inauguration of a deeply flawed man who has been married 4 times, has a very interesting marital past, by the way, and then you look into MLK and realize that he wasn't really all sunshine and rainbows either. But the messages that those 2 men have conveyed, one of nonviolence and the other of just a slow, progressive... Man, it's really hard to wrap this up in one word, but the whole idea of Trump being, we have gone too far and we must rein ourselves back in. Those are messages that a lot of people, simply put, don't like to hear. We don't like to hear that, hey, we need to probably cut back on the calories. Hey, we need to probably cut back on the drinking. Hey, notice that you're going overboard with the painkillers from your recent time. You know that stuff can get addictive. Reining ourselves in is a tough thing to do. But we're a tough people. We're still a pioneer nation. We haven't fully become Europe yet. Thank God. So yeah, today's a day for celebration. Today's also a day for reflection. But Megyn Kelly got one thing particularly right. We might have won this campaign. And a campaign is not a war. All right, wars are fought with multiple campaigns. The war between the states had a whole bunch. And it wasn't decided in one single battle. We lost a big battle in 2020, but we were able to prove a point that has given us a great jump start that has now given us the ability to win in 2024 and beyond. We have won the campaign. It's time to win the peace and start making America great again. And I'm proud to say that I've been at least a small part of this movement, y'all. And y'all, you deserve some credit too. Thank you for what you do here. Thank you for everything that you continue to watch here on Politibrawl. Hope you continue to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Big shout out to my producer Ryan, Big Boss Gray, and Matt for his other work across a multitude of channels, and of course Jake for bringing us some sponsors. Today's a big day of thank you from here at Politibrawl. Help y'all take care. Y'all have a good one, and go celebrate today.